to the first podcast of Let's Talk Safe Money. My name is Len Strickler, and I'm here. I'm the co-founder of LS Financial Group, and I'm here with my very special guest here. I'm here with Billy. Billy Voyles, it's so good to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Len. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Now, I know that you're now a consultant for Magellan Financial, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And you've got quite a bit of experience, I understand. You worked for one of the largest carriers, right, in the industry.
Yeah.
Why don't you give me a little bit about your history, a little bit about yourself, Billy?
Well, I started out in the restaurant industry way back when, bussing tables, washing dishes, all of that. Worked for a family-owned restaurant. Three Italian brothers. So I learned the value of hard work early from being yelled at by the Italian brothers,
and loud too. Huh?
Yes, it was an entertaining job to say the least. But then I moved on and eventually went to college, and out of college, started in the insurance space, and worked for one of the largest carriers in the country, and they do annuities and life insurance and retirement planning. And throughout that time, I spent 10 years there, and worked in product development, worked in sales, worked in marketing and distribution, all aspects of it. So really got a good in-depth look at how the watch works, if you will, right? Not just what time is it. So understood in depth really how these carriers do what they do.
So you came up really very young in this whole industry, really, right?
Yeah.
Worked your way up the ladder, kind of, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's pretty cool. As you know, the whole thing I'm about is safe money.
Yes,
right. And I always preach on my radio show, TV show. Get out of the Wall Street casino, right?
Yes.
Let's get some of your money safe, at least a portion of your money, right?
Absolutely.
We're not against the market. Okay, we know the market's done well over the last 11 years or so.
Done very well.
We've had a good run. But when you get into retirement, as you know, you cannot afford to lose money.
Correct.
Right? So let me just ask you, what are some of the things that you're hearing out here from your advisors and their clients? What are some of the things that you're hearing around this whole thing of safe money? And what are folks like really scared of now in retirement?
Certainly. Well, they have enjoyed the run.
Yeah.
It's been a good run.
Yeah.
No one can doubt that. And it's been, 11 years or 12 years of a bull market, and it's been a great ride. So what we hear now, when you look at the marketplace and what's available, where do I put my money now?
Right.
So it has been a great ride, and the market is at an all-time high. And one of the tenets of investing is buy low, sell high. So if you are at an all-time high, what's your way forward? Where do you go from there? And then if you look at other money, like other safe money considerations, banks, right?
Yeah.
What is a bank?
What are you getting on that, huh?
Where, you have a lot of people frustrated with the fact that they can't put money on the sidelines, and they all remember the 80s when they could earn 10% on CDs, and now they're earning 1/10 of 1%.
Right.
So if over here is risk, and over here is not keeping up with inflation, or not earning me enough money in order to keep up with the inflation. Look at the price of gas. Look at the lumber craze that just went on.
Crazy.
You buy a bag of chips, it's half full. Where'd the rest of the chips go? Right? The price of the bag.
You notice that? It's like crazy.
The price of the bag's the same, but there's half the chips that there used to be. Like, it's weird inflation, right?
Yeah.
It's not what you see, but it's odd.
True.
And the bag's $4.50, $5 for a bag of chips. It's half full.
Yeah.
Like,
crazy.
that doesn't make any sense.
Crazy.
So there's just some challenges facing retirees today, where they either are forced to take risk in order to make money, or they're not going to make enough money to keep up with inflation. So a lot of concerns around that.
Right. So this whole thing, I have folks, they say, Len, you talk to us about this whole thing of safe money. You say that I can never lose my principal. Right, that if the market goes down, that I stay and I hold. Right. Now I'm talking here about a fixed index annuity. Right. Now, a lot of times people say annuities. Oh my God, I don't want to hear anything about annuities. Right.
You said the A word, Len.
Right, the A
don't
word.
say the A word.
And I'll say, sir, excuse me a minute, but do you get Social Security? And they'll go, yeah, I get Social Security. I said, well, look, tomorrow I want you to call Social Security, and I want you to tell them to take that check back, because all that is a guaranteed lifetime annuity. That's what it is. So, folks, annuities aren't bad, right?
Yeah.
But there are some bad annuities. And there's some bad sales folks that have put people in the wrong design, correct?
Correct.
So when they say to me, it's too good to be true, always question, Len, come on, how do they make money?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me.
So they make money over time. And the insurance company is a very, just like life insurance, annuities are the opposite of life insurance. So they make money over time. They invest safely for the long term. And truly, they don't make any money until the 6th or 7th year in a policy a lot of times, because they have to slowly earn money over time in order to make money in those things. So they make a commitment to you that they're going to pay you over a long period. And during that period, they're going to start to make money. They are not nonprofit companies, so they are in it to make money. Sure. But in doing so, they can provide significant value back to the consumer and what they want. And what consumers want is they want protection, they want growth, and they want liquidity. Right. Those are the three things that they desire in where they put their money. And they can provide protection, 100% principal protection. They can provide growth. And they can provide liquidity. So they can provide an element of all three of those things, safety and principal, safety first being the biggest, but a great growth potential and also liquidity. And you can't find an element of all three of those in very many other places. And we didn't even touch the income piece, which is you hit on it a little bit with Social Security. Right. And we could talk about that as we go along. Yeah, that's another one, the guaranteed lifetime income. Right. We'll talk about that in just a minute. The other thing that I hear, so let me get this straight. They're going to take the risk. Correct. On that 10, there's a surrender fee, correct? I have clients say, Len, well, what is this surrender fee? Why am I paying a surrender fee? Why are they paying a surrender fee, and how's it work? So, from the insurance company's perspective, they are making a commitment to you, right? So they have to protect that commitment, and that, from their point of view, right? I'll go back to my sitting at that carrier. From their point of view, that is protection against you walking away from the contract you signed, because an annuity is a contract between you and the insurance carrier. You're making a promise to them to hold it for 10 years. The annuity carrier is making a promise back to you to deliver whatever benefits were in those contracts. So if you walk away from the contract, that's the insurance carrier protecting themselves from you walking away from that contract, because they made a commitment behind the scenes to buy bonds for 10 years or 15 years or 20 years. To make sure that 100,000 is there. And if you leave early, they have to go into the market, sell those bonds at whatever the going rate is at the time, and that is a variable rate they don't know. So in order to protect against whatever that rate is that they're going to sell that for, they need to recapture some of that cost in issuing the contract and doing the contract. Because they're taking that risk. They're guaranteeing the principal, right? Because you're not going to lose your principal, right? I tell folks you would never lose your principal. But so that's how they can protect themselves, right? Now, is it an analogy to say that, let's say they had $100,000, right? So the insurance company, you tell me if this is right, because sometimes it's how I explain it, but a pro like you would probably know this way deeper than I do. But let's say they had $80,000 of that money, and they'll go buy that safe bond, or they'll buy something safe, right? That they know they're covering that $100,000. So you're never going to lose your principal. Correct. The other $20,000 or whatever they decide, they'll go out now and buy options. Correct. Is that correct? And they'll buy short it. They're smart actuaries. Yes. And so on that 20% or whatever, 20,000, they could make what? A bundle. Correct? Exactly. So is that kind of? So I'll dive in. I will dive into that a little bit. We could do a whole other podcast for all the nerds and analytics out there on the options and exactly what they do, but we'll keep it simple today. And to provide an even safer approach to that, it's of the 100,000, it's more like 90,000 is attributed to the safety portfolio, corporate bonds, mortgage-backed securities, really structured safe investments that we know are going to pay back the insurance carrier over that time. And then they do take a sliver, and that's where the upside comes from. So when you talk about a product that's too good to be true, because how are you able to protect principal and offer upside in the market at the same time? How are you able to do that? And the magic is in the options. So I can take a 1% So I have $100,000. Maybe I just take $1. You know, let's call it $100. Let's simplify it all the way down to $100, and I just take $1, right? And I provide you 3 different options for that $1, right? And the option is going to either turn into 0 to 5, 0 to 10, or 0 to 20, right? What that turns into, though, depends on what the market's going to do the next 12 months.
Oh.
So that $1 is going to turn into $5, $10, $20. But the market has to be really, really good to hit the $20.
20, right.
It has to be pretty darn good to hit the $10, and it's got to be pretty darn, decent to hit the $5, right? So to turn $1 into 5, $1 into 10, the market's got to go up. And you'll participate in some of that gain. Now, if the market goes bad, that $1 turns into nothing. But guess what? Your principal is still 100% protected because we have that money growing on the side that's growing back to return your principal.
See.
So you don't lose the principal because that safe money that's on the sideline is really what's protecting your principal.
Right.
And the insurance company's just taking a little bit. Wow. But if you hit a home run, and you did give us $100,000, and you chose to try to hit a home run and hit that 20%, that $1, or in this case $1,000, could have turned into $20,000. That gets put in your contract. Now your $100,000 is worth $120,000. It's locked in, never going backwards. And again, that's a great home run. Not going to happen every day, but there's definitely opportunity in order for that to happen.
That's great. Yeah, wow. It's a lot better explanation with a guy who's been doing this for over 10 years, right? So I appreciate that. Another thing I hear all the time is, they're high fees. These fixed index annuities, they got fees that, they're going to kill you. Yeah. Is it a fee product?
No. In general, no. Most of the products out there have no fees. The fees are most likely associated with what's called a variable annuity. And there's different types of annuities out there. So there's immediate annuities, there's your traditional fixed annuities, there's fixed index annuities, and then there's variable annuities. So when people talk about the A word, that we talked about earlier, right? A lot of the A word is actually talking about the bad of all 4. And they just muddle it all together.
What's that, a variable?
Yeah. Like some of, there's downsides to everything, right? There's downsides to the stock market. There's downsides to real estate. There's downsides to bank. So if you only talked about the downsides of all those things and wrapped it all into one and muddled them together, whatever that is going to sound really bad.
Yeah, right.
You're not going to want any of that.
Right.
That's kind of what's happened in the annuity market, if you will. But fixed index annuities, because they are, this is in the industry itself, it has become such a consumer-friendly product that people really actually believe in. They launched in '95. In 2000, they exceeded about $2 billion in sales. In 2020, they were at $30 billion. Wow. And in 2010, they were at $30 billion. And in 2020, we were going to exceed $75 billion in 2020.
Wow.
And the reason it's growing so fast is because it gives people protection, growth, and liquidity.
Right. Awesome.
People aren't buying these things because they're bad for them. They're not buying them because what they're actually doing for them isn't what they're buying them, because it's what they want. It's what they need in their retirement, because they are in that stage coming to retirement. They need more protection. They need the growth. They need the liquidity.
Right.
So they're becoming really, really attractive investments. They're not investments, but they're becoming really attractive places to put your money because they're giving consumers what they want.
Right. Yeah, that's and again, you can't afford to lose money when you're in retirement. Now, if you're 40, like my son or whatever, hey, he can roll the dice, and he does.
Yeah.
He's done well in the market, actually.
That's where I'm at.
But again, I'd say 5 years before retirement, and then 5 years in, and 5 years on the other side. You just can't afford it. You can't afford it.
Yeah.
The other thing is that we teach is, there's a whole difference headset for a financial advisor who is helping folks in the accumulation stage.
Correct.
Right? Because you care about the return on your money.
Yeah.
But when you hit that top of that mountain and you start to come down, right? Where do most people get killed? Climbing Mount Everest.
Oh, I know that story. Coming down. Yeah.
So coming down is now you're in the distribution phase.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what my partner Art and I really we focus on, helping people in that distribution. A lot of advisors really don't. They're in that, and because they're really paid that way. They're paid to keep you in the market.
Yes.
Right? And
they make a fee on your investment.
Right.
So they make a fee whether you're up, down, stay the same. They're making money as long as you stay there.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
As long as you
stay there, as long as you stay with them, they're making money.
Yeah, and
no matter how it goes.
They talk about fees with annuities. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I think they got this thing backwards.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, they'll charge 1%, 2%, 2.5% sometimes.
And it's like, wait a minute, hold on. I get it if you're making me money, I'll pay you.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I'm now paying you to lose my money?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't get it.
Well, so you mentioned one thing, and I want to say something to the audience, and it's a lot of people in the accumulation stage, they're talking about return on investment, but when you do enter that distribution stage, you need to think about ROI differently. So return on investment is the most important thing when you are accumulating your stack of money.
Right.
Right. ING used to have that commercial that people carried around, that big orange number on their shoulder. Yeah. You are trying to get that number as big as possible. Let's not mistake that, right? When you're accumulating money, I want $10 million when I retire. That'd be great. All right. I'm trying to get the biggest amount of money. But when you're in the distribution stage, what's more important is not return on investment, but reliability of income.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how reliable is your income?
That's a good point.
So as he's shifting the mindset, do you have a paycheck coming in each and every month?
Right.
Or is your spending habits depending on the ups and downs of the market?
Right.
Right? When the market was down 10% in September, were you scared to go out to dinner?
You're right.
Right? Last March, you couldn't go out to dinner, but if you if you could have, were you scared to anyway because the market was down 30 to 40%? Right? Is your lifestyle dependent on how the market goes?
Right.
That's not a great way to live in retirement. Annuities give you really, when you get the guaranteed income life off annuities, it really gives you a license to spend your money and to live the life the way you really want to in retirement. Right. So it's a lifestyle. Improvement too, to have that paycheck coming in each and every month, hitting that mailbox. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's. I think you probably know, I co-authored or actually collaborated. Co-authored's the wrong word, with Tom Higna.
Oh yeah,
and you probably know.
I know Tom.
Tom. He's an economist. He's really a great guy, speaker, educator.
He's fantastic.
And so
good golfer too.
Is he really?
Yeah, don't bet him. Don't bet him. Yeah.
Anyway, a book that I've collaborated with is called Paychecks and Playchecks.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
And it's kind of interesting because he talks in there about you got to get your paycheck, folks.
Yeah.
You just get that first, get your floor covered, right? And then once we do that and you have guaranteed lifetime income, you know it's coming in no matter what, then you can go do your paycheck, right, and do whatever you want. So that guaranteed lifetime income, he actually says that your portfolio is not optimized unless it has a guaranteed lifetime income in it.
Absolutely.
So it's really, you believe that too as well?
Yes. And back when we were when I was at the carrier, we had empirical data that proved that your retirement outcomes improved by having a guaranteed lifetime source of income.
No kidding. Yeah.
Sure, in the rosiest market you can imagine in the next 30 years, okay, fine. But do we expect the next 10 years to be like the last 10?
Well, I don't think so.
Probably not. There's a lot going on in the world and in the country that is, leaning towards, issues that will arise, right? Taxes is the biggest thing, but that's coming down the path. But really, what is the next 10 years going to look like? Is it going to look like the last 10 years? And then what's the next 20 and 30 years going to look like, right? So the data shows that if you look at the averages over time, having a lifetime income guaranteed in your side portfolio increases your chance of never running out of money, which is where you win.
Right.
So why not?
And you know what else he says in the book? You're happier.
Yeah.
You're not grumpy.
That's the thing.
You're not worrying about
That's that license to spend.
That's
because you're worried. It's your license to spend. You got it every month coming in.
It's coming in.
So you can keep that country club membership. You can go on those cruises. You can visit your family. Grandkids, yes. My mom only calls me now to come see my kids.
Yeah, I believe
She's
that.
like, hey, is Bo available? Yes, yes, Mom.
I got 4. I got 4 grandkids. And I'm telling you what, I love them to death, man.
Yes.
You know what's so cool about grandkids?
Yeah.
You can spoil the heck out of them and then give them back.
And then give them back. Sugar them up. Sugar them up and give them back. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, hey, Billy, listen, it's been great talking to you. I really appreciate your insight. And folks, thank you for joining us here today. our first one under our belt here, the first podcast with Let's Talk Safe Money. And I look forward to you coming back next time. Thank you, and step in to your safe retirement.